John.
Well, yeah, I'm interested in low-tech solutions, and particularly the solution of trees that trees offer. It seems like city policy is going the opposite direction, and land use are just allowing developers to fill up all the land with buildings that could be ground space for trees. I mean, there could be some more ground space protected, but the trees offers sequestration and cooling and other factors that are not insignificant in the climate change. The street right-of-ways are very limited in providing tree cover because of the overhead wiring, and every infrastructure project seems to destroy more trees. Are you doing any quantification or analysis of finding ways to encourage more use of trees, and particularly larger trees?
Yes, we are. So somebody else in my office, her name is Sandra Pinto de Bader, she manages the urban forestry program, so she could provide you a much more detailed answer. But I know that we have a pretty active program coordinating with the utilities to make sure, because I know the power line issue is one that's real, and transportation, because they are concerned about, certain species that are more likely to have root systems that would break up sidewalks than others. So there's a lot of careful coordination of it all. But we have general canopy cover goals. We're not, and I think it's somewhere around 30%. I don't know. It could be 27. It could be 32. I can't quite remember where it landed. But we're not there, so we need to increase our canopy. And we, on this new, more dense development, there's what we call the green factor, and this is a requirement for a new development of a certain size to meet pretty aggressive green space requirements. So they have more flexibility. Trees is just one way they can do it. Street trees is one way they can do it, but it could be green roofs, or rooftop terraces. It could be even green walls. There's structures for that vegetation on the wall now, but there's a number of ways where they have to essentially provide a pretty high level of green space, even if they don't have any, even if they develop their building out to the sidewalks because it's a dense urban area, they still have pretty major requirements for finding a way to provide some green space, and street trees are part of that.
Well, the alternatives, the green alternatives to trees seem to be very ineffective in terms of payback. Trees are incredibly efficient compared to all those green factor alternatives. We seem to have a really wimpy policy in protecting space for trees, just disappearing. We don't even have the alternative for features because whatever change in land use allows developers to use up more of the site for hardscape.
To carry on with that theme of the trees, I just wanted to point out that there's two canopy cover goals. One of them is 30% of the city, one of them is 40% of the city, and the developers are actively working to swat down the 40% canopy cover goal, which is located in the Seattle Comprehensive Plan, because it conflicts with the 30% goal, which is a staff-generated goal, not a city council-generated goal of 30%. So if you were to take the current canopy cover, which is 23%, and compare that to the 30% citywide canopy cover goal, you'd see that we have to increase the number of acres of the city by 7%. And if you were to add 250,000 trees, which would bring it up to 30%, you would see that that's a massive land use change. Mm-hmm. And that's why the development community is against trees. If you look in SODO, the freight mobility movement is mobilizing to prevent any tree planting in the city right away associated with arena basketball project. And then so that was the comment. Now the question is, why did the urban forestry program, which you say is run out of Office of Sustainability and Environment, move into the Seattle Public Utilities Department last year? And why, when the rationale for funding that position in SPU which was that we need a full-time presence organizing public outreach for urban forestry. That was then cut to 32 hours a week from 40 hours a week on January 1st, 2011.
So, okay, so you're right, clarification. So Sandra Pinto-DeBader is in my office, and she staffs the Urban Forestry Commission. So Janet Dilly moved from my office to SPU to manage the program there. I'm sorry, I can go back and try to provide you a more detailed answer, but I'm just not an expert on the forestry.
I can tell you where to look. It's in the 2009 Seattle City Auditor's Report that found that the city has a fragmented approach. So if you were to look at the power of Sandra or Jana, you would see that they have a whole bunch of layers of administrators above them, which basically means that their recommendations are ignored. And so what Seattle does is it buries the people that have something to say, and it gives the department head all the power. And the mayor, even though he ran on a platform of taking over from the department heads, he gave up immediately. And the mayor has decided that he doesn't want to buck the SDOT head or the DPD head. And then John mentioned that the amount of area that trees occupy in land is being rolled back. Well, I can tell you that in the multifamily ordinance, the setback was previously 15 feet from the property line, and then last year, also in 2011, it was rolled back to now 5 feet. So you can have a multifamily building 5 feet away from your property line, and there really isn't room to plant a tree in an area 5 feet wide because that 5 feet has to be occupied by a sidewalk. You can't have a building block the sidewalk. And then the other thing, about 7 years ago, when the neighborhood commercial zones were changed to urban villages, now the setback is 0 feet. Yeah. So now your building can occupy 100% of the sidewalk from the block from sidewalk to sidewalk. And when the head of DPD came back from, I believe it was Norway, we saw a slideshow that said that the crowds in Europe bustling along against a 25-story high-rise with their shoulder against the building and their other shoulder against the curb, they called that a vibrant community. And so now they've got this new walkability index. And high walkability communities are hellholes with no trees. And the reason that they get high walkability scores is because they're near a Starbucks. And so we have developers that are running the show. And I think that the zero growth initiative is unexplored.